So,
you?
first of all, Pratiksha, thank you very much for coming up with your question. And
Yeah,
it's a
my
pleasure
pleasure.
to be here to address to your questions, actually. So, before we begin the actual question and answer round, I would like to ask you, where are you dialing in from and what is your practice like?
Yeah, I'm coming from Mumbai. I'm an orthodontist profession and I have my private clinic in Mumbai itself.
Amazing. Great. Wow. So, when did you hear about 3D printing for the very first time?
3D printing for the very first time I heard during my post graduation days. But in detail, I read the articles when one of my close friends she sent me few articles regarding 3D printing. So that was the first time I encountered 3D printing in so much of depth and
Right.
detail.
Right. So now let's just get directly to your questions. So you can ask your
Yeah,
first question. Yeah.
yeah. My first question is that when I went through these articles, I came to know that there is a lot of armamentarium involved in 3D printing. So, is it necessary, like, if a dentist wants to incorporate 3D printing in his practice, is it necessary for the dentist to have all the armamentarium and set up by himself, or what is the provision like? If I want to incorporate 3D printing in my practice, so what is the what is the situation like? What is
Right.
the armamentarium, and what are the things that I have to have in order to start 3D printing?
Wow. So this was an amazing question because it's you asking, but I think there are so many other dentists who would like to get the answer
Yeah,
to this question, and especially the ones who've been reading articles and are thinking that you have to have all of it all together. So as we know, the armamentarium relates to the software, relates to the hardware, which is the printer, and there are other things as well. So let me tell you that my one word answer is no, because you don't need to have all the armamentarium right there, but you really need to know where you're going to use 3D printing. So what you can do
okay,
is you need to know what are the applications for the people, for the patients that you're serving, and what is the benefit that you will get out of that, a little bit of background and things about 3D printing, so that when you use it you can use and outsource your all the things to a service provider initially, and then with that you don't need to buy anything, there is no initial investment. And once you kind of outsource it, but only you can outsource it, but before you don't know the concepts involved in 3D printing, you do outsource it but without having the right knowledge. So I would suggest that learn a little more about 3D printing, get deep detailed into the subject, and don't focus too much on buying stuff initially. Try to do it for a couple of patients. Just start doing
Mhm.
it over a period of time, and then you don't need to buy the armamentarium. That is for sure. Yeah. Okay. There was
Okay.
another
Thank you.
question
Thank
that
you
you
very
had.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more question which I had is, can 3D printing replace the normal stone or the dental models, plaster dental models which we already conventionally use, and how is it economically viable? Like, if we tend to replace the normal dental models with stone models, if we call it
Right.
conventionally, with 3D printed models. So how
Right.
is it? Is it possible? Firstly, and what is the difference between? Is it more there will be more of a fineness in those models than the normal dental models, and how is it economically viable?
Right. So, thank you for the next question. And the answer to this is that yes, 3D printing does replace the models. But I would suggest you another thing here, that you have to see, being an orthodontist, I know you are an orthodontist. So, if you kind of use aligners, then the models that come up as a result of 3D printing, because you scan the patient's mouth and then get those
Yeah,
models
yeah.
out, so they are very accurate. The human
Mhm.
error which is involved is very less. And today, now considering the situation which is there, which is the COVID situation, what you can do is,
Yeah,
because this is
yeah.
going to be for a couple of maybe years, I mean it can go
Sure,
for a
sure.
long time, and so everything is getting digitized. So with that, what
Mhm.
happens is that those scan models, they are definitely more accurate. But then if you tell me that you have to do only this one application, I would ask you to kind of see the number of applications that you're doing in your clinics, because one portion is models, then it is splints, then it is guides, there are so many other applications, crowns and bridges. So holistically, if you take into considerations all the applications, definitely the cost goes down. But if you only consider like just one application, then definitely you will find it expensive, right? So overall the cost comes down, but only if you take like just one application and applying it there, I feel you'll feel that the upfront cost is high. Right? I hope I answered your questions.
Yeah. Because just for a couple of things, if we try to use 3D printing, then it will be like the cost is on a higher side. But then if we generalize it, then it might be economically viable.
It is economical. It is definitely. And then to begin with, you don't even need all the armamentarium. You can outsource everything. So, but considering all of it into consideration, what I feel is that you have to have the right knowledge first. And then even after that, go for outsourcing. So even before you outsource, I highly recommend all the professionals to really have the right knowledge before you even outsource, because a lot of things are not told to us by the service provider. So we need to know all of that, because there are a lot of things involved, and to know all of this, it doesn't take you a very long time. So go for it. Yeah. So while we end this session, I would like to recommend to you that go and subscribe Surgeons in 3D Printing podcast. And in the season 1, the episode 7, 8, 9 and the 10. These are the 4 episodes where we cover dentistry. So there you will hear all about whatever you asked me. So all of these questions and maybe even more you might have. So most of them are answered in especially episode 10. If you go to episode 10, you will have core dentistry covered, wherein it involves basic, the crown and bridges and all of that stuff. So go ahead, hear to the episode, and do come back with your feedback there. Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you for coming in. And thank you for answering.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.